It's time for law in our life, and we have our new guest, Hyunjoo, here in the studio with us. Hello, Hyunjoo.
Hi everyone, this is Hyunjoo, a lawyer practicing in Gwangju.
hmm
It's my second time in the show.
Now, for those who missed last week and maybe aren't familiar with your new segment, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm a lawyer practicing with in Gwangju with expats and Korean clients.
hmm
Before I started my solo practice in Gwangju, I lived in the States for 9 years with my family. I went back to the law school in the US and became the Connecticut licensed lawyer. So I'm licensed to practice in Korea and in Connecticut, US now.
hmm
Being foreign is very close to my heart as I lived as a foreigner and immigrant for a certain time. So I wanted to incorporate community service in my practice.
hmm
So now I upload Korean Law 101 videos on YouTube channel to provide legal information to foreigners in Korea. If you want, you can find me on YouTube by searching my name Hyunjoo or Korean Law 101.
All right. Well, it's very helpful to have you here. As we mentioned last week, we've both been foreigners
Yeah.
in different countries and both experienced the law there, though our experiences have been different since you were actually studying it. And now, our topic today, I hope you can look at maybe some of the differences between law in the West and law here.
Mm-hmm.
It can be hard to understand sometimes. There's a big emphasis on personal liability
Yes.
here in Korea, right?
Yes.
And so, what can you tell us for today's topic?
For today's topic, I chose the traffic issue, a bike accident.
All right. Well, let's tell the story. What happened?
So let's say that you are riding a bike and accidentally you crashed into a pedestrian.
Uh huh.
Both of you fell down and the other person broke his or her arm.
Mm-hmm.
The ambulance came and transferred the victim to the hospital.
Uh huh.
The victim was diagnosed with a 4-week medical treatment with a cast.
Mm.
The person argues that since you caused the accident, uh, he will report you to the police as car accident and says you are responsible for indemnification.
Oh.
So what should you do?
Well, boy. First, I don't even know what the word indemnification means.
It means more like a recovery of damage.
Oh. Okay.
So just
Fair
the
enough.
compensation for the damage.
All right. Well, I know what compensation is.
Yep.
So all right, now we're ready. Those tricky legal words.
Yep.
So well, what should we do? Tell us.
Uh, there is some basic information you should know about.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Korean Road Traffic Act, a bicycle is actually regarded as a motor vehicle by definition.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the law, it states that the motor vehicles, construction machinery, motorcycles, bicycles, and certain other vehicles are all motor vehicle governed by the Act.
Right. So we're all supposed to follow all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ride through red lights.
No.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, even though you were riding a bike, your accident will be considered as a car accident by definition.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be similarly responsible for the accident like you are considered as a automobile driver under the law.
All right. And usually, from my understanding of traffic laws, the automobile driver, when
Mm-hmm.
striking a pedestrian, is usually considered at fault. Right? You're not supposed to hit
You,
people.
yep, usually.
Mm-hmm. So, tell us about what we should think about the rules and what we should do if we get in this situation.
So, as a bike rider, you should abide by all the traffic rules like other drivers and ride it safely.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, if you caused an accident or injured someone while riding, you should take necessary measures to provide assistance to the injured and the damaged property,
Uh-huh.
and also provide personal information of yourself, such as name, phone number, address to the victim to allow him to contact you to discuss the damage and recovery, like
Okay.
to avoid the hit and run
Uh-huh. Right, yeah, I was about to say.
responsibility.
I'm not
Yes.
supposed to just ride away as fast as I can.
Never.
All right. Okay.
Also, you or the victim should make a report to the police when it involves injury or death.
Okay. So if my bike hits them and knocks them down
Mm-hmm.
and they drop their groceries, break some eggs,
Mm-hmm.
no problem.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if I mean for the police being involved.
Yes. If it only involves property damage, then you can just take necessary measure to prevent any further danger and
Mm-hmm.
ensure the smooth flow of traffic along the road by like removing all the stuff on the
Sure.
road.
Okay.
Then you do not need to make a police report.
Right. But if there's someone hurt
Mm-hmm.
or maybe some public property that got damaged,
Yeah.
then we got to call the cops.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And are we responsible for this?
So, yeah, in this situation, if you're responsible for the injury and damage, you will be criminally responsible for the traffic law violation,
Mm-hmm.
and you will be responsible for the damage, which is a civil issue.
I'll see. So the traffic law violation, that's
Mhm.
criminal law.
Yes.
And then the injury to the person.
No, it means like you violate a law, so the consequences is the property damage and the personal like injury.
Uh-huh.
So for those uh, fault that you fault, you will be punished under the criminal law.
Oh,
But
okay.
there is some like monetary recovery issue because
Right.
they have to pay for their bills
Okay.
or like to repair their stuff.
Oh, okay.
So in those for those damages, you will need to pay them under the civil law,
All
more
right.
like a torts in
Okay.
the U.S.
All right. So because I hurt them,
Mm-hmm.
I have a civil responsibility.
For the
That's
damage.
for the damage they receive.
Yes.
But because I hurt them with my vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
that's a criminal matter.
Yes.
Okay. So first, let's talk about the criminal charges.
So first, regarding the criminal charges of traffic accident, there is a special law. It's called the Act on Special Cases Concerning the Settlement of Traffic Accidents,
Mm-hmm.
and this law applies. According to the Act, it provides that the penalty for the car accident, including bike, is that a driver of a vehicle who commits a crime of causing personal injury or death by occupational or gross negligence by reason of a traffic accident shall be punished by imprisonment without prison labor for not more than 5 years, or
Mhm.
by a fine not exceeding 20 million won.
Wow.
The level of penalty sounds horrifying.
Yeah, it does. I mean, doing a few years in a Korean prison doesn't sound great at all to me. Now, how can you get out of this situation?
But in certain situations, you can be relieved from criminal charges and be acquitted, means not guilty if you submit the agreement letter by the victim stating that he or she does not want you to be criminally punished in case of property damage or personal damage caused by car or bike accident.
Uh-huh.
So the power of that letter is very significant.
Okay. So if the person I hit says, I don't want this person charged,
Mm-hmm.
I won't be charged?
Yes, but to meet that criteria, there is some requirements and conditions that you should meet, like if you are not speeding too much. So
Running a red light.
Yes, there
Okay.
are specific conditions that should be met. But
Okay.
if you met it, according to the law, the prosecutor cannot charge a violator against the will of the victim.
Mm-hmm.
So the intent of the victim can be implied by the letter he wrote.
Wow. Sounds like the victim has me over a barrel.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's very important to have a good communication with the victim.
Right.
To
Okay.
get out of it.
So I've got to get this letter from the victim.
Yes.
All right.
It's more like an agreement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds very important.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are there some other things that could complicate this? You said if I broke the law when I committed the accident, running the light. Anything else? What if I've had this trouble before?
Oh, yeah. In those situations, it can be tricky.
Yeah.
So if you have a previous criminal records in Korea, you have another crime on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it may adversely affect your penalty due to a cumulative effect.
Oh.
Depending on the timing, severity, frequency, and the type of the past crimes. Like if you have committed traffic violation before and then it's your second time or third time.
Right. Especially because often sentences are suspended in Korea, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said something about a tort earlier. I think a tort's a kind of cake, but I know that it also has something to do with law, right? So tell me about that tort damage.
Yes. Regarding the torts damage, in Korean system, it's a part of Korean civil law.
Mm-hmm.
So violator may be responsible for the damages that the victim suffered, such as wage loss during hospitalization and recovery, or physical damage, including medical bills and psychological damage, if any.
Wow, that can be quite a bit I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
So if they can't work, I have to make up their income.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's pretty tricky. Now, are there any other things that I should understand about negotiating for that letter, or how to handle that sort of thing? I mean, I don't know how I would ask a person for this kind of letter.
Yeah. As I said, such letter will have huge influence in your level of criminal punishment, and it can help you to settle the case out of the court without any further fuss.
Mm-hmm.
So you should work very hard to draft a good letter because
Mhm.
it's critical to get something
Yeah.
from the victim.
Sure.
So one thing to remember is that when you negotiate an agreement letter with the victim in criminal case, you may request the victim to forego his or her rights for the torts damage in return of the monetary compensation,
Ah.
not only indicating his or her forgiveness for the criminal charge.
Is this blood money? I've heard it called this sometimes before. Because I'm offering you money so that you don't pursue this in a civil manner and you drop criminal charges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Because it's the principle is more like they are already fully compensated or
Mhm.
fully satisfied for what they need to get.
Okay.
So in that case, the government doesn't want to make everybody the criminal.
Okay.
So.
Well, do you have any final advice for us about this situation?
Yep. So if you are drafting it, I think it's wise to include a sentence like, "I'll denounce my rights to pursue civil lawsuits against the violator as I'm fully compensated."
Mm.
So once you have such clause, you do not have to worry about being sued for another issue as you have settled everything in one letter out of the court.
Very good. Sounds like I need a lawyer to help me write this letter.
Yeah. So also before you admit anything or promise any compensation, please see a lawyer and ask for professional help because writing this kind of letter can be very critical.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry. I was pointing. I wanted you to get that. Just read that part.
Oh, what was it?
Well, because we were
This one?
we were running out of time.
Oh.
But it's okay. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can't see the clock from here, right?
So what should I look at next time?
But I don't think from that seat you can see it. See where it says 10:37 to 37:30? That's like our target to finish.
Oh.
And
So then the till something is the time.
And then we're gonna when that matches the on air.
Oh, okay.
That's when we should be finishing.
Oh.
So we went like a minute over. It's not a big deal.
Okay, I see.
But,
so what if it's a bit longer, like you cut it or make
well, we'd have to try and trim a bit, but that's not always easy to do. So more likely, probably we'll play a song short or something later in the show.
Okay, I'll keep that.
Yeah. It's
I was wondering like whether there. I think there were some signs out there, but I didn't know like what I should look at.
Sure. Well, it's weird for me too because we're on camera. Normally, like I would be making more gestures.
Okay.
I'd be like, 1 minute, But because we're on that.
A bad one?
Yeah. Well, but because we're on the camera, I'm like, I don't want to be in here.
Oh no, it's fine. I wasn't like actually thinking about it because I had to like read it and listen to your.
Oh, I'm very aware of it. It's strange to me. All right. So fun. That will air next week.
Next week on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And so maybe